So I had this one last week where I had the Secretary of the Department of Corrections on, and it turns out that the fence at Columbia Correctional Institution, they had purposely left the razor wire up, so to injure inmates who were trying to escape because they thought they were tough guys or something like that. And that was one where they hung the lady out to dry too because of that one. And now I think they had wished that they hadn't got all that on the record, but that's what happened. It was kind of amusing there.
Okay, so Attorney Lindsay is now here. Mr. Hitchcock Cross, is there any housekeeping that you want to take up before we get going?
No, I mean, I keep everything on the record. I had a better chance to look at the case that you cited or sent to us that we took such a long break for yesterday. I think it was more clear to me that how inopposite it is. Of course, I note again how it's not binding here. It's a district court case about a municipality, not a county. I think there's the statute cited there. First of all, not being binding on us, but don't apply in this situation. So I just wanted to really underscore how unhelpful that was during the hearing. I do get that it was kindly met, but it really interrupted the flow there. And I think much of the reason we're behind is because of that.
Okay, that aside, we've got Mr. Wilber on the phone, ready to testify. Do you have your next witness teed up so that we don't have a lag between?
Yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem.
Okay, well, let's get going then. Mr. Wilber, can you raise your right hand?
Yep.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh.
Yeah, Mr. Wilber, do you swear the testimony you're about to give is going to be the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I just wonder if you could admit me on Zoom.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If I need to
Yes,
share documents.
Yes, I can do that. I'm admitting Attorney Lindsay so that he can share documents.
Yep, we got that from yesterday. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead with your questioning.
All right, can you hear me, sir?
I can.
All right. And your name is, can you say your name for the record, please?
Sgt Wilber.
Okay, are you employed by the Ashland County Sheriff's Department in any way?
I am.
What's your position there?
I am a sergeant in the jail. I run the electronic monitor program.
Okay. So it's fair to say you work in the jail, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And about how long have you held that position?
Since October of 2001.
Okay.
Recording in progress.
Do you know Kim Levasseur?
I do.
How do you know her?
She has been my partner in the jail for most of my career and my lieutenant in the last couple.
Okay. Are you aware of any sexual assault allegations arising in the jail in 2022?
I am.
Okay. How did that first come to your attention?
It was brought to my attention in a meeting with the lieutenant in her office. The paperwork was standing there or sitting on her desk, and I had asked what it was about, and she had told me.
Okay, and what paperwork are you referring to?
The victim of the sexual assault had wrote a statement.
Okay, and what did you discuss with Lieutenant Lavasseur at that time?
She had asked me if I would give it to the PD, the Ashland Police Department, to do an investigation on, because it was a PREA incident and we didn't want to investigate our own case.
Okay, and was that a decision that you were jointly making? Did she make the decision? How did that go?
She made the decision.
Okay, so is that common to take Or have you ever had any experience taking cases to the Wilber or to the police department?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's just common practice that if it's something that happened in-house, we like to get it done somewhere else.
Okay. Do you have any knowledge whether or not she tried any other agencies before the police department?
I only know that Lieutenant Levasseur had asked Bayfield County after the fact when I was trying to get their PREA documents, their policies.
Okay, so she had asked Bayfield County, did I hear that right?
Correct.
Okay. So what steps, after she gave you those instructions, just to back up a second, do you know when this conversation happened about the going to the police department?
I really don't recall the date, no.
Okay, and I understand that, but do you believe it was in October of 2022?
It was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
And you're sure it wasn't in November?
Pretty sure, yes.
Okay.
And the only reason that
I don't mean to cut you off, sir.
that's fine.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, what steps did you take after you got these instructions from Lieutenant Levasseur?
That part is hazy to me, but I know that it was given to Scott Moreland. He is the lieutenant at the Ashland Police Department, and he was asked if they would do the investigation.
Okay.
And I don't recall if I gave it to him or somebody else gave it to him, but I know it was given to him. And it was days, 2 weeks later, Lieutenant Levasseur had asked me to ask Moreland if they had interviewed the guy or where the status of the case was.
Okay. And just to back up 1 second, how do you know that Moreland was asked to do this investigation?
Well, because I was told to ask him if anything else was going on it. And I'm not clear if I gave it to him or I didn't. I have a lot of conversations with Scott Moreland.
Okay. Now I understand. Okay.
But I know for a fact he did have it because I saw the same paperwork on his desk. I just don't recall if I gave it to him or somebody else did.
Now I understand. But you were asked to follow up by Lieutenant Levasseur sometime after the investigation was transferred. Is that fair?
Correct.
Okay. Now I understand. Appreciate it. So what was your conversation with Mr. Moreland about the status of the investigation?
I had asked him if it was done. He kind of got upset and he said, nobody's followed up with you about this yet. And I said, no. And he said that he would talk to their investigator about it, about the status.
Okay. Can you describe what you mean? He kind of got upset.
He was cursing at their investigator. I gave this to him X days ago. I don't understand why follow-up wasn't done.
Now I understand. Okay. Did you have any other contact with the Ashland Police Department regarding this case?
Only after Moreland had then called me after that and wanted to know what our PREA policy was for handling such case.
Okay. What did you tell him?
I immediately went and tried to find our PREA policy to see what we should do, and we don't have one.
Okay. And did you check the jail manual?
I did. I went on Lexapol, which is where all of our policies and procedures are, and there was nothing there for a sexual assault. So I called Bayfield County, Captain Luke Klechka, and I asked him for their PREA policy so we could instate that policy immediately.
When about did you contact this Bayfield County employee?
Well, I got an email from Moreland on November 15th saying that they weren't going to do the investigation. So I want to say it was that day or the day after that.
Okay, and I understand that you're on the phone here, and I believe we've all seen this document before here. But do you recall whether or not there was an email sent to you, copied to Ms. Levasseur and Brian Zupke on November 15th regarding this incident? And is that the email that you're referring to?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you believe that Brian Zupke had knowledge of this incident based on that email?
I don't know about the email, but when I did get the policy from Bayfield County, he was the acting chief, and I gave him a copy of Bayfield County's PREA policy, and I said, we probably should put this in Lexipol.
About when did that happen?
A day or the same day of the email, because I was running around trying to find this policy and get it together.
I understand. And did you explain to him why you should adopt that policy immediately?
Yes.
Okay, and was that reason connected to the sexual assault or something else?
The sexual assault.
Okay, and just to be clear again, your testimony is that that would have happened somewhere around November 16th or 17th, right?
It could have been the 15th because I had the policy from Bayfield County in my hand.
Okay, what, if anything, did Zupke say to you at that time?
I put it on his desk, and like that was the end of the conversation.
But
What was that answer? I didn't hear that.
I had just given it to him, or he put it on his desk, but it's still not in Lexipol as of 3 days ago.
Okay. And have you ever spoken to him about that policy since that date?
I have not.
Okay, and it's also fair to say he hasn't spoken to you. Is that true?
He has not.
Okay.